What is up, everybody? I'm No Lux Given, and today we're going to be taking a look at some Peter Pants gameplay on the newest patch. And typically, I would say when a new patch comes out, Peter Pants is one of my go-to heroes, at least especially when I was learning the game. Now I want to jump into whatever has changed the most to try to film some cool content. But the one thing about Peter Pants is it doesn't really change that much how you play the hero. You're still going to be looking for Crystal Ball, still going to be looking for Merlin's hat. That's exactly what we're looking at in this video. No surprises here, but typically I would say Peter Pants has been one of the easiest heroes to play after a new patch because not too many tier 2 or tier 3 characters or treasures are going to get shifted around between patches, but I will say the past few months have been interesting as the developers have been changing the arts. The characters aren't really a huge deal, but it's the spells. When you're trying to hat ball and it's all about that APM, those actions per minute, the fact that all of the spells look totally different than how you were playing them yesterday can definitely make playing mages a little bit more difficult. So despite that, we actually are going to be looking at a really good game with Peter Pants. I think that this is a pretty strong one, and there is something a little bit unique about it. It's hard to, I've been playing this game for over a year at this point, and I'll bring this up a little bit later on in the video as well, but there was something that, I'm trying to think of how much I want to spoil it. Basically, there was something that could happen in this video, and I was like, have I ever done that before in Storybook Brawl? Is this something totally new for me? And it turns out the answer is no. I did it 11 months ago. I just forgot about it. I forgot that I did this amazingly cool thing. So there's very few things still left on my Storybook Brawl bucket list, especially for a hero that I've played so many times like Peter Pants, and that has such a narrow gameplay focus. But despite that, I think that there is still a little bit of something that makes this one unique. And I think I'll save that for a little bit, but we'll talk about that when it becomes a little bit more relevant. We can bring the focus back to the current board though. We're doing pretty well right now, 36 health. We're going to take 4 damage here. Sink down a little bit, but still in third place on the leaderboard, feeling pretty good. And we've got some nice characters, and then we get to really start to have a great turn on this turn. We triple Ogre Princess, which is a pretty great triple because it provides some econ early at the start of the game, so it is lucky, so I'm happy to grab that as well, despite the fact that our Brave Princess has been failing to slay. It attacked into Humpty Dumpty's like 2 or 3 times and just overall is not doing super hot, but what is pretty awesome is that we get to pick up a Merlin's hat here as our first treasure, tripling off of those Ogre Princesses. So we're probably going to find the Crystal Ball relatively soon because we're going to be churning out some additional level 3 characters, so that's always fun, and we've already found one of those level 3 treasures that we need. So pretty good stuff for this one, and Brave Princess is going to grab the sleigh, so that's really good, and then Ogre Princess will grab the sleigh as well, and okay, it almost could have grabbed one more. It was 50-50 to grab another one, but I won't get greedy, and we'll just see what we can make happen here. There is a blind mouse in this shop. I actually don't remember picking that up. I think I don't see it, so we'll blame that again on the new UI, but I do triple a lucky, so that's pretty cool. If I had already taken the blind mouse, then maybe I would have gone for the treasure map, but we're trying to get this Brave Princess to complete as soon as possible, so I'm just going to pick up Haunted Helm, give one of my characters a little bit more health. The awkward thing here being that I don't actually know what character we can give more health here. I don't want to play Water Wraith in slot 1 because I want to have it grow from 2 units on either side of it. So that makes it a little bit awkward, and I'm just going to wind up putting a Spellweaver in slot 1. A little bit silly, and then I accidentally use a Sugar and Spice on my Baby Root. I was trying to cast that on my Ogre Princess, just couldn't drag it over in time. So a little bit unfortunate, but Spellweaver in the front line holds down the fort there. Pretty funny stuff. Ogre Princess grabbed us a Water Wraith, so we will be able to triple that up now. And I'm going to buy some other things in the shop first. One was free with Lucky, the other one's a golden chicken. Main reason I did that is in case we get Fancy Pants. Just trying to maximize my order there. I hate all of these treasures. None of these do anything for us, though Bad Moon, I guess, sure, maybe it does something. We'll pick up another golden chicken here now. There's also a True Love's Kiss in the shop, which only costs 1. So I'm going to go for it, and I'm not going to cast it on one of my upgraded tier 3 characters. I'm instead just going to cast it on a level 2 character, so that way we can potentially try to grab some more triples. And then I guess I was thinking about selling off the golden chicken and the Baby Root to pick up a Mummy. I don't hate it. That could be a reasonable play just because Mummy is a really good character to triple eventually, but looks like not for now. Brave Princess is going to grab the sleigh. We'll take some damage here, but you know what? I'll take it. We'll go down to 21, but I'll trade that for a crystal ball any day of the week. And I think that part of the strength of this game is certainly the fact that we've got the crystal ball and the Merlin's hat already. That's going to just really give us a lot of power and ability to roll for additional treasures. And I guess I'll start to talk about that now when, oh, never mind, we don't pick up a big book here. We pick up a secret stash. Okay, we're going to be picking up a big book soon. I'll spoil that fact. And what is interesting, and I kind of brought this up a little bit when we were looking at the Sphinx the other day. What's so cool about the Sphinx is it basically replaces your hat and your big book, which allows you to play Crystal Ball plus 2 other treasures when you're playing that hero, which is really, really strong. Peter Pants doesn't have that opportunity, and more than that, it's also difficult for Peter Pants more than any other hero to find Aeons because, well, you gotta get level 5 or you gotta get Lucky and True Love's Kiss into those. Or you can shard into those after True Love's Kissing and Mix-a-Whizzling in some capacity. I'm actually glad I picked up the Secret Stash, by the way, as we are able to cash in on that and keep ourselves at 17. So that did kind of work out nicely for us. But yeah, the one thing that is certainly a little bit awkward with Peter Pants is you only get to play Crystal Ball and Merlin's Hat plus 1 other treasure. And that means you got to make that treasure a good one. And what is definitely interesting about this game is I wind up switching what that third treasure is and slowly upgrading it over the course of the game, which is pretty fun. We'll go for another Mix-a-Whizzle here. We find a Greedy. That's a pretty good one for the turn, and then we'll finish off with some Witch's Brews, some more Flourishes onto our Nutcracker, and then I'm just going to pick up Cindy and cast a Falling Stars here. We have Greedy and Nutcracker in our board, so these are pretty good stars. They're going to give us 2 extra gold next turn and 1 extra tick onto the Nutcracker, which could be enough to grab us a tier 4 treasure. So pretty sweet stuff. A nice pickup there for like a pretty basic spell, and that is going to work out pretty nicely. I think Ogre Princess also going to grab the sleigh, but we're not going to be able to take out my opponent's Robin Hood. That guy was way too thick in the front line there. So we will take a little bit of damage down to 7, but it's okay. We're still alive. Should have cycled through the Vampire first because then we could have just had 1 extra gold here, but it's fine. We got a bunch of extra gold. We're still sitting on the chicken gold even still. So we're doing pretty good for ourselves. We're also going to be activating Cindy, and we picked up that big book that I was talking about. Didn't feel like I had to cover it as much because we just talked about it a moment ago, but Big Book of Spells, a really, really powerful treasure. I think it's going to make the Sphinx a lot stronger, at the very least a lot cooler, and I'm definitely excited to see what we can do with that one. But for now, just casting a whole bunch of spells. We're almost looking to run out on time because now we've got so many more spells in our shop and not enough time to even cast them. So I'll just finish off with a Genie's Wish here, and then I will lock onto a Spellweaver. We had enough gold to pick it up, we just didn't have the time to be able to do so. Nutcracker's also looking huge right now, so Nutcracker is going to be able to grab some additional a tier 4 treasure for us. And here is the question, because we can't toss this Merlin's hat. If we had Aeon, we could toss this Merlin's hat right now. We just don't have an Aeon. So do you toss Big Book of Spells for Forking Rod? And I think you do, but it's actually close. And the reason that it's close is because when you Forking Rod, obviously you do see extra spells. You can see those extra spells roll into the shop right here. But when you have Big Book of Spells, you like start with more spells. Now, the reason that I do think that it's worth it is for Mix-a-Wizzle and True Love's Kiss. And then I suppose also health potions. Those are pretty nice too, to be able to grab some additional health across the course of the game. But yeah, it's definitely like an interesting decision that you at least have to think about, right? And I thought that's what made this game really interesting. And we're also not done yet. Would you replace Forking Rod for anything? And the answer to that should probably be no. There's really no other better treasure than Forking Rod. Well, there's one. There's one better treasure than Forking Rod. I'm not going to say anything else right just yet. I've given enough hints throughout this video, but feel free to guess down in the comments the one treasure that could be a little bit better than Forking Rod potentially, and we'll see if we have anybody that nails it on the head. And this might be a little bit of a hint as we pick up a 5396 Hercules, and we're even going to get that a little bit bigger before the end of the turn as, what did we cast a sugar and spice on it or something, but almost 100 health Hercules because it was formerly that Nutcracker. It's pretty crazy that, like, we can transform a Nutcracker into a Hercules and then do another quest off of basically the same character. So obviously that is really strong. I'm going to double Shrink Drink. I did that a few turns ago as well with double Shrink Drinking just to wind up picking up some things for free. It's just good econ once you are out of it for the turn. And then I'm locking onto this shop because it's got a Beauty's Influence that we can cast on our remaining Spellweaver in our hand. My opponent has an ugly Gosling Helm on an, no, not an upgraded Good Boy, just a Good Boy. And we're going to grab that tier 6 treasure off Hercules. Last chance, lock in your bets. Pandora's Box. And the reason for this is, and now Wand of Weirding is the exact same thing as Forking Rod. There's no reason to pick up Wand of Weirding when you are playing Peter Pants specifically, because Forking Rod is the exact same, assuming that your spells all cost 2 less, and you're never getting rid of the hat on this hero. But there's one treasure that I think could potentially be a little bit better, excuse me, a little bit more fun, and that is the Black Prism. So it has been almost a year since my last Black Prism Peter Pants game, to the point where I totally forgot about it. I wasn't sure if I had ever gotten the Black Prism on Peter Pants. I remembered playing against it. There was a game of Storybook Brawl 99. You'd have to find it somewhere, but LSV had Black Prism Peter Pants, and I thought that that was really sweet. And I mean, I had already done it before then, but like I said, it's just been so long since I've forgotten it. So I thought that we were strong enough this game. You can see that we are the lobby leader now with 16 health and a bunch of really, really big mages, that I thought it was worth the risk. Let's toss the Forking Rod and see if we can't find the Black Prism, and we'll see if that pairs or plays out for me as we move into the finals. And unfortunately, it does not. We wind up finding a Magic Sword plus 100, so a little bit unlucky. We are not going to have a third mage treasure, really. I'll wind up picking up a Wizard's Familiar just because what the heck was even that shop, so might as well. But yeah, I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to make this Wizard's Familiar big enough by the final turn to actually make that gold worth it. We spent 6 gold and then we skipped 2, so we spent 4 gold to make a 24-24 here, maybe a little bit bigger. Like I said, by the end of the turn, yeah, 30-30, we got it up there, but still, like, maybe not actually worth the investment here. We'll get to Shrink Drink and pick up a golden chicken, so that's pretty cute, but it's only a single Shrink Drink. That's right, because we don't have the forking rod anymore. So a little bit awkward. I sell off my bear stain just to pick up a golden chicken, but yeah, we definitely made our board a little bit worse tossing that forking rod, but you gotta go for it, right? Especially when you're this far ahead. It actually doesn't really even matter. I mean, my opponent is strong, but look at our backline. Our whole backline can beat my opponent right now. So we still grab the win. We take out the Celestial Tiger there, but I had to go for it. What do you think? Trying to go for the Black Prism Peter Pants. I think I could, like, potentially put it back onto my bucket list just because it's been so long and it is so strong and so sweet, but unfortunately it is not going to happen today. But I still thought, that this game was unique in the fact that I don't know if I've ever tossed a forking rod on Peter Pants. That takes an extra, that's a whole nother level. So to be able to have the confidence enough, I knew we were going to do well enough without it, to be able to toss the forking rod there is pretty silly stuff. And we also tossed a big book. So we had perfect treasures twice in this game, and instead we wound up with a magic sword plus 100 on an ogre princess. But yeah, silly stuff. And then I kind of just wasted that last turn, but who cares? Who cares? Look at everything we've done. And yeah, I thought this was a pretty sweet one regardless. But that is going to be it for me today. So thank you guys very much for watching. I'm No Lux Given. Peace.